This is the Sewer of Terror. After the initial weeks of the server had passed, and many players had stopped playing consistently, I wanted to come up with a long-term project that would keep me playing on the server. At spawn, it was decided that there would be a beach theme with fun beaches and themed houses. I had picked out a plot of land, but was struggling to come up with an idea until I discovered a cavernous area that had been covered and abandoned. This sparked an idea, and I had my long-term project, and thus the Sewer of Terror was born. There at spawn, just below the sandy shores, would be an interconnected system of tunnels with a large room being my home at spawn. This initial idea grew and changed until it became something else entirely, an adventure for others to explore. Once I started digging, I realized what a Herculean task this would be. Many nights were spent doing nothing but digging tunnels. Eventually, I had the tunnels laid out and decided it was time for a basic test run to see how one would tackle the maze of halls beneath the earth. I called upon the members of the server, asking for a volunteer to test my maze. I had them go through the maze while I followed close behind, but at the time, the maze was nothing more than a bunch of 3x3 tunnels. Months of building, digging, and layout changes later, I had a workable version of the maze ready for play. While digging, I found a zombie spawner, and with that discovery, the lore began to take shape. I invited 3 players to test the maze while I followed close by, invisible, to see how a group would play and what I could change. The clip you are seeing is that very test, which was actually featured on Brun's channel. If you want to see it in full, I will link said video in the description. After this test, I had a lot of notes, so I closed the maze game and spent about a week making changes. The maze was finally finished and open for all to play. In order to make manually resetting the game easier, I made an approximate map of the entire tunnel system. If you want to go through the lore for yourself, I'll put images of the text at the end of the video for you to pause and read. This was the first time I've built an adventure game of this size in survival, and despite some bumps along the way, it was really fun to build and to see others react to the maze and lore. If you have access to a copy of the world download, I highly encourage you to play through it yourself. Next, I will be giving a behind-the-scenes tour on how I manually reset the game in survival. Here we are in the 1.18 world at spawn in the beach area. This build is mine, this house. We're going to go over it very quickly. First, we've got the RV that I built. Check out the inside. Got a bed, there's a bathroom, table. Okay, the front. This garage door actually opens, as you can see. Head inside. Got some tools, and that's where I kept my materials. We'll go in here. Got a lamp, living room. Got a kitchen. Go out the front here, just to show you. That's the front. That's where the front door goes. Barrel for mail. Upstairs, got a balcony here for, you know, sunbathing. Beautiful Minecraft sun. Bathroom here. Nothing much really to see in there, just a bathroom. Got our bookcase here in the hall. Master bedroom. You know, I even got a desk here with the sword, and you can even sit in the chair. Alright. Last room. You know, just another room. Alright. That's it for my my beach house. I'm gonna close this door. As you can see, it's on a smaller plot. Go around the back. See, we're right up against the edge here. No yard space, unfortunately. But the real thing I wanted to show you is down here. Although I gotta push the button and wait. Yep, alright. Water elevator. Looks like a manhole. Goes down here. This is the main room where I reset the maze. The maze is right on the other side of this wall, as you can hear. I got some backup villagers here, just in case. Go through here. This is where the zombie spawner is that I found. If you go up here, there's another entrance into the maze, into the upper layer. But yeah, if I turn this off, which I won't, zombies will spawn. And they would fall down here. And I put boots, leather boots with Depth Strider 3 in there. Before I realized you could just throw them on the ground. And then I'd apply them to the zombie. And then I'd also give them a wooden sword. This would be closed, obviously, so they couldn't escape. And then what I would do is open this, and I'd lure them over this way. This is where I can see. This is where I kept the materials. I got boots and weapons, armor, other materials. But I lure them this way, up the stairs, and that way is blocked off. And we would go up here. Right up here. I would replace this with trapdoors when I was resetting, and they'd fall right in. Yeah, a lot of them, they like to push each other in the water. They push each other over the rail and fall in the water. So there's a lot of them down there. Got this little hole here. That's how I got the zombies in the maze. Same deal for the upper layer, although it's over here. Same idea. Replace that with trapdoors. Falls down into the maze. Now the way I'd get the items in the item frames, the books you can find, and the other collectible materials, I do exactly as you expect. I just break a hole in the maze and run around with full armor. You know? pretty easy to dodge, even though they have Depth Strider. When they group up, they get, kind of blocks your path, but you can take a couple hits. You'll be fine with full netherite. Got this poor unfortunate soul. When people were playing, I would usually disable the beacons that are outside. But, I mean, I wasn't with everybody that played the game. So, oh well. This room. Here's an example of the items you can find in the maze. Here's a book, one of the journal entries. We got items in here. Yeah, there's another one. Plenty of things to find. We got this guy in here. If you read the lore, or you stick around to the end of the video, you can read the lore. Because I'll have the images up. You'll know who this is and why he's in the cage. And in order to reset this guy, there's just a guy in here. And this actually, that's the exit right there. So if you play through the maze and you want to cheat, yeah. That was a complete coincidence. And that's how I reset the maze. Here's something interesting that you wouldn't otherwise know about. Obviously, here's the maze. Absolutely insane. So if I fly around a little bit, you can see all the rooms. The large chamber that you drop down in. Yeah, I did all this blind. I just randomly dug around with the beacon. Hit some caves. Some of the caves I kind of followed. Some of them I didn't. Here's some unused section of the maze. Obviously, with it being this close to the end, I just figured, you know, why bother having another loop at the very end when you, like, you would just run right to the end, right? You wouldn't even look through this. Up here, I mean, this is where the beacon was at one point. Here's the door for the house. Got more unused section of the tunnel that I decided not to use. Because again, it's just another corner, you know. This section probably would have been fine. And I was going to connect it to the subway system. I was gonna have like iron bars so you could like peek inside. If you were paying attention while riding the subway line, you'd see like iron bars in the wall and be like, oh, what's that? And then I'd have like maybe a sign or a book or something nearby, and then I'd just have like coordinates for the start, which is actually over here. This is the starting area. This, I believe, was mostly natural, and whoever's house this is, I don't remember. They just I assume they just put dirt over and connected the two pieces of land. and covered this up, and it was hidden. I randomly discovered it one day. I noticed that it looked weird here, and decided to swim down, and I discovered this cave. And that's basically how the Sewer of Terror was born. That's how you enter. I was gonna do something with these guys, and I never got around to it. But this is where you should go. This is where you would go. Sewer of Terror, rules and info below deck. So you go down here. You got the book with all the... Well, I guess you can't do it in spectator mode. Here, I'll go through all the pages so you can, if you want, you can pause and read them. Then I had gear. This is the gear you started with. I did gold tools intentionally because they're kind of mid damage. But they have low durability. And because I didn't want to sit around and like do wooden tools and pre-damage them. Got armor. And I made people use fish because it's not that great of a food source. So it gets pretty brutal with leather armor. You're like 3 hits to the zombies with the wooden swords. Yeah, and then you'd set your spawn here. Yeah. Just a little Coast Guard boat. It kind of plays into the story a bit. Once again, read the lore. And you'll know why the Coast Guard is here. And since you can't really see the boat that well, because it's like blocked by the land, you wouldn't even know it was there unless you go over to it. So I put the arrow there so people will be like, oh, what's that? Something I forgot to show in my other parts of the series is my end portal that I decorated. So we'll do that very quickly. This is just where I kept the materials to build it. Close that up. So this is my end portal. There's nothing over there. That's just a wall. I've got the glass layers for the fog effect to make it look like the void. Shout out to Caddy for helping me do the last few. Got another portal hooked up over there. And there's a way up to the surface here. This goes to the Madcont crew over here. This path goes right over to the Madcont crew base in the east on the 1.18 world. I'm not going to go over there, but yeah, if you follow the path, it leads right to their base. So, yeah. This episode concludes our 3-part 1.18 mini-series. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!